Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Yo, before we get started, please drop a one in the comment section so that I know that you can hear me and that I'm not just talking to little Roscoe here on my lap, that I know that the Sofa Squad is out there. After that, we will continue. We do have some thank you, Squinting Cat. I appreciate it. All right, so Squinting Cat hears me. Amy hears me. Thank you, Amy. Hey, Chrissy. Hey, Emily. First and foremost, y'all give Emily a warm welcome to the Sofa Squad. She is our moderator. She keeps everybody, including myself, in line over here. Um, and you know what? Real quick, let me switch over to 5G because it's not on 5G. Please hold on. Up. I switched over to 5G. I didn't know I wasn't on it. Sorry about that, everybody. But look, let's see here. Did it go? Okay, there we are. Can y'all still hear me? Is everything good? Now, look, everybody, a couple of things. We're going to do some announcements real quick before we get into everything. So, first of all, tonight we are discussing Dear Zachary. At the end, I will make a very obvious we are moving from Dear Zachary, and we have to talk about for a few minutes all of the evidence released in the Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrand case. Okay. I have been doing nothing but making videos yesterday and today on it. I'm editing one in the other screen before I came over here. Another one comes out tomorrow morning. This morning, I did the one on Ruby's arrest. I mean, I have been deep in it, y'all. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so first of all, a couple of announcements. Next week's weekend documentary thing or whatever, we are not going to be doing a documentary, and I will tell you why. We are going to dedicate our live chat to what do you call it? Discussing Jody Hildebrand, Ruby Franke, number 3 or whatever we're on now, talking about the upcoming Chad Daybell trial, which is happening, I believe, the next day it starts. So that being said, we're going to kind of dedicate it to that and kind of lay out how everything's going to go in that type of thing for reviewing the trial over here on this channel. What I plan to do is this, just spoiler alert or whatever. I'm going to be streaming the trial as best as I can on this channel, the podcast channel. Now, if you follow me for streaming stuff, I'm not like these other big channels that can sit here all day from 9 to 5 and stream the trial. So there might be things of like, oh, hey, opening statements, we're going to stream. Melanie Gibbs taking the stand, we're going to stream. Oh, thank you, Elaine. I know, right? Hey, maybe one day. I appreciate it, Elaine. So it's not like a 9 to 5 type thing. So I'm not saying give up your regular place that you watch streaming trials at. I'll make the announcements here. And I'm going to try and do edited versions, like say of the opening and things like that for the main channel. And side note, Agent KK, I'm literally editing my video on Kevin. And totally agree with what you just said. That's the video I'm editing over here. Oh, I'm fired up about it, y'all. I'm fired up about Kevin Franke, okay? Yeah, I was fired up in the video I just did. I didn't even make a script to it. I didn't make notes. I just talked, okay? Looking at the clips. But anyways, so but that's how we'll do it. Thanks, Dwayne. I appreciate it. But that's how we'll do the trial over here. And again, we'll discuss it next week when it comes, when it's right here at the threshold. Also next Sunday, and I'll put an announcement out, we're going to do the members and Patreons live chat Sunday morning at like 9 o'clock or something. So we'll do members chat Sunday morning and then the podcast channel probably that Sunday night to kind of lay out like here's how everything's going to go type thing. And Chrissy, I need oh no, I hope you're, oh gosh, no, I'm sorry to hear your friend passed away. And I'm sorry you're not doing well again. I'm so sorry. I'm sending virtual hugs, and Roscoe says he says he's sending Roscoe hugs to you. So there's that. Roscoe's little tongue. But I hope you get to feeling better. And can I do this? Oh wait, hold on. I want to try this real quick. It's gone. Where'd you go? I just saw this. Oh, that's cool. I just realized I can heart that. That's neat. Let me go back here and do this too. Can I do it to yours? No, Dwayne's doesn't have that. Does this one? Okay, I see. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I learned something new. Okay, so let me get back up here. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? So that's just the quick announcements on that. Now, that being said, y'all, this documentary, I do not know if I can promise that I can even make it through reading my notes without bawling. Okay, I was talking to Emily earlier today, and I was telling her, I was like, girl, I'm talking the next day after this documentary, I'd be at a stoplight and start crying. It bothered me to such a degree, I cannot get you there. Okay, now here's the thing with this one. Just trigger warning. Couple of things. Roscoe, I got to put you down. This is getting serious up in here now, y'all. This is getting serious. I forgot what I was going to say. I got so serious, I forgot. I started bawling at the stoplights. Dear Zachary. I forgot what I was going to say. A couple of things, though. First of all, about 3/4 of the way through the documentary, I was like this. This is me. This is me. I look like Jody Hildebrand getting arrested with the phone. I quit taking notes. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, what? Oh, I remember. Okay, I don't know how I did this to myself, but somehow in my brain, I was like, okay, I remember. Now go ahead, and I'm just gonna say this. Spoiler alert. So just know that I'm getting ready to talk about the kind of twists and turns of this, and we'll get more into it. So just know that. Okay. Somewhere in my brain, I had convinced myself that somebody in the comment section somewhere said something to the degree of, and she's still getting away with this, or, whatever. And in my mind, I interpreted that as she is like out of the country, protected in some way, and got away with this. So when the twist came and I found out what really happened and the way it went, it's giving me goosebumps right now. This is me. That I quit. What I quit taking notes. I was like, I, 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 I just, that was me. Okay. So just know that. So that being said, we're going to get to it. Roscoe, I might need some support over here. This one got to me. Pardon me. So that being said, the name of it is Dear Zachary. Okay. Secondly, I can remember this being in my queue, not in my queue, but like, you would recognize the cover to it or whatever. Never watched it. And so I was like, brought it up. I was like, oh, I remember seeing this. So it's called Dear Zachary. Okay. If the washing machine does not quit beeping at me, I might lose it. Does any of y'all's washing machines do that where it will just keep going and going and going? And I'm like, I get it. You're done. Let's give you a cookie. So, oh, Dwayne, thank you. Dwayne's always hooking everybody up here, y'all. Dwayne's awesome. Give him a round of applause, y'all, and thank you. Welcome all the new members via Dwayne. So, Roscoe's already wants me to hold him. So it's called Dear Zachary, and the director's name is Kurt. Now, Kurt is the friend of the victim, Andrew. I'm giving you a quick 60-second thing here so y'all know what's going on. Andrew is the victim. Kurt went on a journey to go tape record all of Andrew's friends and family talking about how wonderful he was so that the son that he never met would know what kind of father he was. Okay. So that's the 60-second thing. We're going to be talking about the woman that Andrew got with, who caused all this pain and horror to his family. So just that's what it is. This director, this is very homemade footage. This is no frills, no fancy kind of a documentary. Okay. It's literally like, I'm not trying to say he didn't do a good job, but one of us could, what I'm saying, like kind of make something like this, like with a home video camera. It is old school. So there's that. So there's that. So what I'm gonna do is with these, I always do this. I take my phone when I'm watching it, except when I'm so shocked and I sit there like Jody Hildebrand. We need it. That's a damn meme at this point. Her. It's just I can't wait to talk about it. Okay. So okay. I make notes through here. I might make an edited version of this for the main channel, but I don't know if I can get to it this week. Okay. Um, and again, this one's a tough one. So okay, so it starts, and again, I just make these notes, and it's kind of a stream of consciousness thing. So there's that. Okay, so it starts off with various people, various interviews talking about all. I'm already starting, y'all. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, here we go. Y'all, this is gonna be a rough one. About all these wonderful qualities about Andrew, and could only hope that in my death that this many people come out and say these kinds of things about me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all, this boy, man, whatever, touched so many people's lives. Okay. They talked to various people about where they were when they found out. And literally all these people are like, this is what I was doing when I found out about his murder. His mom recounts the story and tells how she got this runaround and finally got a cop on the phone who tells you your son is dead under suspicious activity. Any idea why he was in this park? And she is devastated. So essentially what ends up happening is, and we'll get to some more of this, stuff or whatever, but yes, they find out doctor or somebody in scrubs is dead in this park. All the dots are connected. The mother kind of gets this runaround and finds out. So there's that. The parents fly over right away. They talk to his colleagues, and everyone is just devastated and shocked by this. Then the narrative takes a turn back to his childhood, and they talk to former classmates, friends, former fiance, and everybody speaks so highly of him and his accomplishments. Uh, Okay, so one thing that's going on in this, and you kind of see the story arc, is the director of this named Kurt was friends with Andrew. Kurt was always into movies and film and stuff like this. And so Andrew would star in his little movies and stuff like this. And they show lots of snippets of this and whatnot. Well, one thing that Kurt learns is that Andrew apparently got into photography later and was really big into it. And so he's also like, I want to make this journey to Newfoundland, I believe is where it's kind of his destination to, pardon me, see the photography and learn the side of my friend that I never knew. So one of the things that hits you with this, okay, that's very different from a lot of these cases is number one, you are talking to a plethora of people from this guy's childhood, adulthood, colleagues, all through his life. Okay. But you're also seeing tons of home video footage, tons of home video footage. It reminded me of the way in the, and I'm sitting here thinking about this now. If you remember the Watts case and how much home video footage there was of the girls and whatnot and home life, and it makes you feel very connected to them because of this documentary has the same quality. Okay. Pardon me, of, um, you know, of that. And so it enables you to get closer than you can a lot of times to the victims and whatnot. So there's that. The director says that he wanted to travel far and wide to meet everyone that knew Andrew so he could essentially learn who he was and the parts of his life that he didn't know and to make one last movie with him. Also, there's an arc of you're learning these different reasons why, and they kind of like throw some, curveballs to you, and you're like, oh, wow. So it starts off in California. He's interviewing people. His father talks about how he didn't get accepted into med school his first year. So he decided to get a job and then reapply again. And he eventually got into med school, but it was all the way on the other side of the country in Newfoundland. So his father is like an engineer of some sort. Now his mom is from England or United Kingdom or something like that. And so his dad is very engineer. You know what I mean? His mom's also kind of like, everyone described her as like a Spitfire type woman. So very full of life, both of them. Well, Andrew, yes, he wants to be a doctor. He doesn't get into med school, but he was very much like, okay, well, then this is what we're doing. Just very boom, 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 boom. What I saw of him is I was like, this guy seems like a famous person, right? I mean, granted, you're seeing a lot of the stuff that he's doing. Let me put Roscoe down. as being his friends' movies and things of that nature, but he just had this larger than life personality, which is very similar to his father. Um, so after all of this good talk, the director then turns to his graduation, but says, "Wait, stop! You need to know the whole story." Then they revert back to the parents and start talking about the autopsy. They are completely devastated. I don't know how you could go on in life after what these parents lived through. I, it's a testament. Okay. So they're talking about the autopsy and what that was like. So, they just kind of do this revert. Let's go back, and start telling the story in a different way. Um, After they've shown you what an amazing person this guy is, you're left wondering who and why would ever take this man's life. How did he end up in this scenario? Well, then they introduce Dr. Shirley Turner. Okay. In my opinion, the devil his damn self. Okay. Dr. Shirley is introduced. There is a considerable age difference. She's 40 and he's 28. She has 3 kids, been divorced. Kids don't live with her. She lives with somebody else. Or I'm sorry, the kids live with the father. Um, there's a recorded phone call with Corporal Gardner of the Pennsylvania State Police calling her, and she says they went to the same med school. Cop asked if they were boyfriend girlfriend, and she says not really. Now this is like when something happened to him, and they're trying to do the investigation. His friends begin to speak and recount this, and one friend says, "I had never even heard him speak of this woman." Then his fiance, so they interview his ex fiance. I don't know what happened between the two of them. He was engaged to a woman and it got broken off. And basically, at some point during this, then Andrew meets this, doctor lady who he becomes, a thing with. Now, one thing to keep in mind is like she got her med school stuff like a while ago, but had never become like done whatever you had done to like become officially a doctor, I guess, or done whatever it is, the next step. Which let me tell you what, thank God she didn't. Thank God oh my God, y'all. Can you imagine the body count? Okay. So she says that they separated because she says that she had begun to deal. No. So him and his fiance had separated, and she says that he had began to deal with her seeing other people and whatnot. So things were okay. She was happy to see him finally dating somebody. So he gets up with this, and it's like, oh, that's kind of awkward, but okay. Now another friend's all of a sudden, Dr. Shirley just kind of appears on the scene, right? And she's always there. Now, another friend describes her as being kind of crass, always saying inappropriate things, and just a person who does things in poor taste. Y'all, some of the video footage they showed of this woman, I wanted to crawl under the table. Okay. Not only, and I'm not trying to say anything about an age gap here. You do you, boo. You know what I'm saying? Take the temperature. Okay, already eyes are going to be on you in this age gap. She's obviously older than him, right? Like if you just look at him. Okay, so there's that. Y'all, she be all over him, tonguing him, inappropriate dancing. And this is like, see, somebody's wedding and stuff. I mean, y'all, it was bad. Okay. So I'm sure his friends were like, especially, you can literally just see his ex fiance in the interviews and tell a completely different caliber woman, right? Um, than this Dr. Shirley. Pure trash, okay, is what she is. So scuzzy. Scuzzy. Okay, so after school, he moves back to the States to Syracuse, and his friends say that he hated it, he didn't like it, and soon she follows suit. They came from Canada. His internship or residency was very stressful. Basically, he's very busy, and Shirley made himself available, and it was just comfortable. So at first he was doing surgery, and he didn't want to do this. Hold on, Roscoe wants me to hold him again. Hold on. Okay. And he decides to switch to a family practice residency in Pennsylvania, and this is his niche. And you can tell from his personality, I'm like, this is the kind of guy that would be, I can just see him doing that. You would be very comfortable with this dude. Pardon me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just think of a family doctor type person, like, it's just an amazing, pardon me, amazing, what do you call it? Bedside manner, personality. "Oh, thanks again, Wayne. Woohoo, y'all, Wayne's hooking everybody up." Now, so he's doing this. So in Pennsylvania, he doesn't want her around anymore. You can already, y'all, her personality type, the little bit that you see of it through video and stuff like that, you already know. Honey, no, she's got to go. Okay. So he didn't invite her to come to Pennsylvania, and this did not go over well. She is calling him. And I'm talking obsessive hundreds of times, like, just, what's that movie we just watched? Lover, Killer, Stalker, whatever, that kind of stuff, right? So they said this one part where basically, like, so all this is going on. Well, he had invited her before he, like, was over her to this wedding. They were going to a wedding together. So mentally, he had basically broken up with her before he invited her to this. So they showed that, this is one of the things, they show some footage at this wedding, y'all. Y'all, this is where you wanted to crawl under the table. Everything you don't do at somebody's wedding, she's all over him. It is embarrassing. She did everything but wear a damn wedding dress to the damn wedding, okay? And if she did, you wouldn't bat an eye for her to do something like this. She's the type to wear a wedding dress, not even to like one of her friends' wedding, but a stranger's wedding as a guest, okay? 100%. She was apparently flirting with the best man, doing some just, oh, thanks again, Dwayne, doing just stuff, okay? Um, so anyways, she acts the dance floor is absolutely horrifying, embarrassing, talks about this event of his murder. Andrew doesn't. Oh, so there's that. So he breaks up with her. This is, I mean, it does officially breaks up with her. It does not go well. Okay, so then the narrative switches to the event of his murder. So what basically happens is Andrew doesn't show up for regular things like their morning meeting, at their internship, or whatever. This was completely abnormal for this man, okay? This man was very, you're on time, you do this, you do this. He said he was never late, although he was born 2 weeks late. Where we go. So they leave messages for him, but nothing. And they're playing some of these messages, and his boss or whoever is like, I'm getting ready to come by there. Okay. Well, then they start hearing talks on the news about a body was found in this park wearing scrubs. And they're, again, like, the story is told through people who know and love him and coworkers and stuff like that. And they're talking about what it was like to be like, okay, we start hearing this and he hasn't shown up. Somebody's found in the park wearing scrubs. I have goosebumps. You can see it's all coming together, right? Um, so they leave messages. So they're talking about, the cops show up at the hospital. They gather everybody in a conference room, and they know, and they're like, Andrew has been killed. Well, literally, y'all, everybody's like, you don't have to look far. Shirley did it. Shirley did it. Okay. She was in town. They play a call when they told her that he was dead, and y'all, she acted like, oh God, oh no, oh heavens. I mean, trust me, y'all, it was absolutely not upset by this. She did try and feign some tears, but no. So Andrew was found the morning of Tuesday. Okay, here, hold on. It's funny things start to get me upset me. Because at this point, when you learn that he's dead, I mean, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just like, why? Okay. He was found the morning of Tuesday, November 6th, laying behind his car in a parking lot at Keystone State Park in Pennsylvania. A man who was walking in the park the night before had seen Andrew's car parked to another SUV, one that matches Shirley's. This is 10 minutes after Shirley has told his friend and colleague that he was going to meet Shirley. He was shot with a .22 caliber handgun, and Shirley owned one like it. Her gun instructor said that she was using the same kind of ammunition that was found at the crime scene, and that also her gun started malfunctioning and throwing live rounds onto the ground, which was also that pattern was found at the crime scene. She agrees to let the cops take the gun, but then she's like, oh no, I can't find it now. You know what? Actually, I gave it to Andrew. She was also sick at home on Monday, November 5th, she said. But when cops look at her phone records, they can tell that she's actually been calling him over and over and over, all the way from her home to Pennsylvania, where she logs onto an eBay computer at his house and then she logs onto eBay from the computer or something like that, from his house. and then drives all the way back. So literally just banging his phone up, calling and calling and calling and calling and calling. Um, so they can tell, girl, no, it's a no-go, honey. Um, they're able to completely trace her steps. She was not at home in bed. Cops are gathering all this information on her. She leaves the country and goes back to Newfoundland. People talk about, oh God, y'all, this is bad. People talk about how she was acting at the memorial service. So basically, and again, this is what I say, we can only hope that people would have this reaction to us in our passing. There's memorial services in Newfoundland, Pennsylvania, some other place, I can't remember. I mean, multiple places had this, y'all. Pardon me. Packed to the damn gills. Okay. Oh, thanks, Mama P. Welcome or thank you for joining. Yeah. So where are we? People talk about what she acted like at the memorial service in Newfoundland, and they said that she was super over dramatic and over the top. It seemed like it was totally all for show. And now, mind you, she's doing stuff too, like, emailing the ex fiance talking about like Andrew never liked you. Just crazy stuff, y'all. Like mentally unwell stuff. So then they arrest her. Now, this is where y'all buckle your damn seatbelts up, y'all. Okay. Because this right here, okay, they arrest her, but she makes bail the next day. It was only $75,000, most of which her psychiatrist posted. And then they listed conditions which were very little. And I wrote, I'm actually very surprised by this. And then, hold on now, if you haven't watched it, they dropped the bombshell. This is when we find out that she holds a press conference or something, someone does, and announces that she's 4 months pregnant with Andrew's baby. Okay. So now, okay, let's just pause there for a second. This part is the beginning of the end, number one, but this will take us on a tale that is so insane. Of all the behavior that we have seen in these cases, this is some of the absolute worst. And I'm talking about what she did, the manipulation that she uses this child for to get to his parents is next absolute level. Okay. So please hold. Where we go. Then we get a little bit more of where insight into the director's motivation. He's doing a lot of this as well to put together for the child. The director, okay, here, hold on. The fact that he did this for Andrew's child is just, it's amazing. It's just, it restores your faith in humanity. Um, it really does. So the director says that Andrew's parents quit their jobs, they took all their money, and they moved to Newfoundland to fight for his justice. Okay, so the legal system, just like here, is very slow. So while they're doing this, Andrew's parents are making friends and really get involved in the communities. Remember, they live there, she lives there, the baby's there. Well, on his way. 2002, Shirley gives birth to the baby and she names him Zachary. The grandparents go to the hospital to see him, but she will not let them. Okay, pardon me. The director flies to England to get the perspective of his. Okay, so let me pause here. One thing that's going on as you're seeing this is you're also seeing the director's story where he's flying like to England, to Pennsylvania, to all these places and making this trek to get the perspective of family and friends and whatnot who knew him and everything. Okay, so there's that. Where are we? So he flies to England. Remember, I said his mother's from there to get the perspective of Andrew's mother's side of the family. Everyone speaks so highly. They are so emotional over his loss. And again, it's heartbreaking because you're meeting all these family members who you're just like, my God, this family was so vast and so connected. And the relationships that they had are just so beautiful. It's so very rare to see this, right? It was beautiful. So thank you, Ross, the grandparents. I don't know why I put thank you, Ross, but obviously a talk to text messed that up. maybe thank you, Ross. I don't I don't know. Um, the grandparents get a lawyer and fight for custody of for the baby. She meaning Shirley, finally allows them 1 hour a week under major supervised visitation. Then the narrative switches again and they put Shirley in jail. The Andrew's parents get custody of Zachary. This is a very celebratory moment. All the friends in the family come. Now they have to agree to certain terms with Shirley, okay? So they will take a phone call from her every day from jail so she can talk to Zachary and update her on Zachary. And this is the beginning where you're watching this and these poor grandparents who have put everything aside for number one, their son, number two, Zachary, to be able to sit here and talk to this monster on the phone and tolerate her. And this is just the beginning. For the love of this baby is again it rekindles your faith in humanity. So they play one of the jailhouse phone calls and Shirley asked the parents to, y'all, this part, oh my god, it pisses me off just reading it. She asked the parents to get a picture frame and put a picture of her and Andrew in it so that Zachary can have the little picture. She wants to say mommy and daddy. I mean, can't roll. Please hold. I wanted to come through the damn screen at this point. This is the part where I was like, the devil himself has come up here and taken residency in this woman. To even, and she loved asking for that. She was digging that in. Oh my, I mean, it makes me physically angry. Okay. I wrote my mouth is on the ground. The grandparents will drive 2 hours. Now, this is the thing. Newfoundland, apparently the weather there every day is treacherous. Okay. It looks like it puts Seattle to shame, right? They drive 2 hours every week so that the baby can see Shirley in prison, jail, whatever they call it there. So this is literally all. I mean, this is what they're doing, right? Then she gets out. I forget what loophole they found to get her out, but she's let out. Let me tell you what, and I'm not from Canada, so I can't speak on it. I know we have our own stuff here, but this right here, when I saw the things that these judges and stuff were doing for her, I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She gets back out. They give the baby back to her. And the grandparents said things got really, really weird after that. So we do have to stop here for a second and say, thank God Zachary had that time, albeit it very short, with his grandparents, because I can assure you things were probably not that great behind the scenes with Shirley, okay? So at least he was able to know love in that way because they doted on him, okay? And everyone that came around from the family doted on this little boy. Cute little thing. And his eyes, he kind of had a little something going on with him that looked just the way what is it, Andrew's did. Okay, so I put that Shirley manipulates the situation where the parents would have to spend time around her to be with Zachary. And so they would have to go do things with her, like go to the mall and go to swimming and go to dinners just to be with Zachary. She would also manipulate money out of them. And I mean, y'all, they're showing things of them in the pool. And I'm like, they're having to hang out with their son's murderer and put a smile on their face and talk. She would call up crying, I just don't know if y'all are going to hurt the baby. And I know you want to physically hurt him, but maybe we need to revisit the custody thing, because I mean, I don't know what you're saying and you might not mean to say mean things. And you're like, and then another time she called up, I can't, he's going to have to go without food and diapers because I can't, I'm just so upset. And he's like, and the grandfather, oh, thank you, Squinting Cat. Roscoe says yes. Thank you very much. The grandfather's like, "Shirley, he needs diapers. The baby can't go without diapers and food. We're going to come by there tonight and leave it on the doorstep." No, but yeah, I mean, y'all, this woman is sick. Okay. I'm talking sick. Now, I don't know if I put this in here, but well, let me, okay, no, let me say it because if I didn't, I'll forget. One thing that I'm sure I did, hold on. I just hate to say it too soon. Oh, okay, that's all. Okay, we'll wait to it. Sorry. So the director currently finally arrives in Newfoundland, Kurt, after traveling across the country and meeting all these people, and he gets to meet Zachary. Okay. The director then talks about getting to finally see the pictures that Andrew took, and they were good, y'all. He didn't know Andrew did photography. That was their connection in life, was like this videos and stuff that they did. It's very meaningful to him, and Andrew took amazing photographs. So the narrative switches back to the relationship between Kate, this is the grandmother, and Zachary and Shirley. Shirley becomes insanely jealous of Kate because she feels like Kate is trying to replace being the mother because Zachary will choose her over Shirley. So, like in situations or whatever like that, and they show some things. And then the father, this is what I want to say a minute ago, but I was like, I don't want to say it too soon. Okay, hold on one second. So, the father describes it like this. He's like, Shirley had no warmth to her. He was like, she had a fake warmth, and they would show these home videos of her doing over the baby and stuff. He was like, Kate, Andrew's mother, Zachary's, maternal grandmother, paternal grandmother, had a warmth, had that motherly, grandmotherly thing, right? And he was like, so of course Zachary is going to, a baby's naturally going to go to that, right? Especially with the confusing thing or whatever, of like him living with them and that, whatever. So, but they had to play her game because they didn't want that she's the mother. Um, and thank you, Nirvana, and so true. So they have to play her game, right? Well, here's the thing. So she starts getting jealous, all this type of stuff. You can tell, and this is what I was going to get to. I'm sitting here thinking, behind the scenes, God knows what she put that baby through. Okay, because this baby was nothing but a pawn to her. I would argue to say she did not care. She probably hated this child because remember, she had other kids that she just, and we'll get to this in a minute, when all the stuff comes out about her past that was never considered in court, when they just let her do whatever she wanted to. She already had kids she didn't care about, documented evidence that she didn't give two whats about these kids. So the fact that she's just all in love with Zachary, no. Zachary was a pawn. And so that's why I say thank God he had Andrew's parents for that segment of life so that he at least knew what love was. Because I can tell you he wasn't getting it from what's her name, Shirley. So anyways, this is what I said. Shirley already has kids that she doesn't have anything to do with. They live with their father. She told other people that kids are more trouble than they're worth. Another person says that they think that all she's doing is using Zachary to torture Andrew's parents. And that's what she was doing. Okay. Zachary was a way to continue to torture his Andrew and his whatever afterlife, and um to torture the parents. Roscoe, come here. The narrative switches to a monument day. Oh, y'all. Now there's probably a jump because literally halfway through at some point, y'all, I literally just had the phone down and I'm sitting here with my mouth on the damn floor. Okay. Um, okay. The narrative switches to a monument day. It hits the news that Shirley and Zachary are missing. Okay, so this is like, oh my God, they were afraid of her running. She had been now this is okay, so this is what I missed. Shirley goes back into court for something, And I don't know if this is when they let her out or what they did, because I didn't put this in there, but a judge basically rules, you know what? You're not a threat to society. The person that you wanted to kill, you already killed. So I'm not concerned about you being a threat to the general public. And that's what it was. So when she got back out again, she re-releases her on another 75 bail, but doesn't make her pay any money. And the grandparents would basically say that the judge was doting over her and just acted like, almost like they were friends. And she went in here and said all this stuff, and you can get out and blah, 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 and all these things, right? So keep that in mind. Um, Y'all, it's my laundry machine. I'm sorry. We're almost done with this, not the live chat, but this part, and then I'll go turn it off because it won't stop. It's been doing it the whole time. Um, so the judge lets her out. So just keep that in mind, okay? And I hope that this judge has to watch this documentary. I would every damn day of her life, okay? Every day of her life that judge should have to sit down and watch this. Because I look at her as personally responsible for this. Anyways, um, so they're missing, right? They find hold on. They find Shirley and the baby dead on the beach. Okay. We'll get to what happened in a second. Did I put it in here? So I don't know if I will get to it in a second. They find Shirley and the baby dead on the beach. The grandparents have to go. They describe going through the same thing they did with their son, going to the autopsy, having to go see that little baby. Y'all, it gives me goosebumps all over. I'm just like, what? What? I mean, why? They're describing going down there, seeing the baby, and the way he lays it out. It's so horrible, y'all. It's so horrible. Okay, so the narrative rewinds and goes back over this other something. Oh, evidence. I said, Roscoe, I said, this is what I wrote. Now the narrative rewinds and kind of goes back over this ass back. I do talk to text, so no telling what it says. It's evidence. It talks about Shirley, who meets this dude who she starts dating him. Now, this is when during this kind of all this legal Stingle stuff, whatever. So somebody tells him that she's accused of killing her ex-boyfriend. So he's like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Roscoe, come on, honey. Um, she flips out on this man and calls him hundreds and hundreds of times, tells him that she's pregnant, that he needs to step up and be a man. You see the pattern. Then the narrative outlines how she completely tried to frame this man for taking her and Zachary's life. So she lines all this stuff up. She leaves this evidence on his property, and she gives Zachary and herself Ativan. Then she straps Zachary to herself with a sweater and goes and jumps off of the pier in the ocean to the ocean, or the pier or whatever in the ocean. And that's how they die. The grandparents are so pissed off, y'all. I mean, so full of anger and just despair. Do you blame them? Um, and completely blame the legal system. And I 100% agree with them, okay? Kurt reaches out to all. So Kurt, they show Kurt, the director. He is calling all these people, the judges, all these people. I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him. Nope. Nope. None of them are going to speak. Of course they're not. Right. It turns out 8 people had restraining orders against her. She was on a live watch all the time in jail. She had gotten crazy with several men before. Let me go grab Roscoe, y'all. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry, I turned the laundry machine off too. So, um, Roscoe's standing in front of the bed doing his weird little howl thing. Um, because he's like, hello, it's almost 8 o'clock. Why aren't we in bed? Um, he's like blown away. He's like, what is this, like late night? Are we going to stay up and watch Elvira or something? Um, okay, so where was I? So she had all this. So when the judge is like, you don't show any signs of being a threat to the public, y'all, she multiple red flags, y'all. Thank you, Kim. Multiple red flags. Um, that should have been like, this woman is unhinged, right? Unhinged. Um, that's where I stopped taking notes on it. So my mouth was on the ground, but again, I mean, we see, and I'm not trying to like be like, oh, would it? We see this kind of stuff happen in the legal system often, right? Not often, but enough to where it's an issue. She should have never been let out ever. She should have been brought back. A lot of this is they're just trying to get her extradited to the United States for murder charges. But her and her lawyer were able to drag this out and delay it and do this and do that and blah, 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 blah. And so they could pull it off, right? Um, Again, the depravity of it, I'm just like, all of this was just to get back at Andrew and then the parents via this baby. God only knows what she did to the poor little thing when she was at home. Yay, thank you, Dwayne. Woohoo. Um didn't they say that Shirley psychiatrist had to be evaluated by I believe so, Odarmy. Yeah, because remember the shrink that paid almost all her stuff, the bail to get out? I'm like, what? I mean, there's so many red flags with it, y'all. And again, some of these cases where you're like, how does this happen? And I think someone mentioned that Gabriel Fernandez case up there early, a second ago. That's the thing. Some of these things where you're like, I don't get it. Where it's just like, do they want this to happen? Like the authorities and stuff like that? Like, why did some of these things happen like this? But yeah, so this one, I think because it's just you met so many of his family members, and then obviously the story is just awful. And then seeing what the grandparents went through absolutely just rips your heart out. Um, and just Andrew is such a nice guy, right? And I'm not saying that a not nice person deserves that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. It's just it's heartbreaking. I know Gabriel Hernandez Fernando, I can't remember which one it is. Absolutely heartbreaking. Yeah. So this was these documentaries haven't gotten to me like this in a while. Um, so it was, yeah. I almost don't. It's not that I don't suggest it, but it's so depressing. I mean, I'm not joking, y'all. The next day I was like going to work and stuff like that, bawling, just starting to think about it. And I'm like, Paul, get yourself together, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? You're getting ready to go to work, coming in there afternoon. Oh my God. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, I need a break from true crime, y'all. My God. Okay. Now, that being said, so so let me make this little announcement while we have more people that have probably joined since the beginning or whatever. Um, we're not going to be doing a documentary for next weekend. Okay. We are going to use next weekend's live chat to talk about the Ruby Franke, Jody Hildebrand case and Chad Daybell's trial coming up. We're going to be outlining how it will go down as far as like how we'll be watching it and talking about it over here in this channel, which will be a mixture of live streams and live streaming the trial parts of it that I can. This is kind of my busy time at work. So when I have days off, I'll see what's going on. And it might be like last minute, pardon me, to be like, hey everybody, I'm going to be streaming this for a couple of hours. To me it's a lot of fun watching it with y'all on the live streams over here when I can, but I'm not like these other channels. Like, this isn't my full-time thing, you know what I'm saying? So I got to work is what I'm basically getting at, y'all. So it's not like I can do it from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So I'm not asking you to give up your normal channel that you might hang out on to watch live stream trials like this or whatever, but We will be doing as much as we can, and then I'll be doing some more like commentary, the edited versions of this for the other channel like I do. That being said, okay, next Sunday morning, hold on, Roscoe, come here, come, come, hold on, come here. We don't need you jumping from there. He's very ornery tonight. He's had his food. I guess he wants his jammies. Look, do you want your bed down here? Let's do this. Roscoe, look. I mean, just full of spit and fire. So, let's talk about Jody and Ruby. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. So first of all, on the main channel this morning, my little quick video came out about Ruby's arrest. Tomorrow morning is the one on Jody's arrest and her interview. I was editing and working on the Kevin video, which will come out, obviously in the next couple of days. And then after that, I think I'll do the journal and then the jailhouse calls. So basically this whole week is kind of dedicated to that. I don't know if I can go live to talk about it before next weekend. So there's that. I want to start off to making some points on, Ruby. Okay. So let me just say this. We'll start with her arrest. I already knew that this was bad, right? This whole case, like we all knew that, right? This is bad, whatever. I already knew that they're both crazy. They both ain't right, all that. However, if it was at all possible, my opinion has sunk even more. Okay, now, here we go. When I saw how controlled Ruby was during her arrest and interview and that little smirk on her damn face, I was like, this woman is pure evil. I would venture to say probably shockingly more evil than Jody. Okay. Jody acted more like a regular person would. During her arrest and interview where she wanted to talk her way out of it. She wanted to do this. That was more normal. Ruby was so comfortable in that situation with being just that, I'm not going to say anything. I was scared. I was like, this 100% she would have killed those children. 100% she was on her way to doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, now mind you, I'm not trying to say that Jody isn't whatever, but I saw pure, this is what I call it, if you're familiar with the Halloween franchise, I call it Michael Myers evil. There's that dead, absolutely nothing behind those eyes. The way she sat and looked at those. Thanks, Lauren. Instant Lamb says that child, right? Literally. Yes. I love his channel. The way she sat and looked at those cops and didn't say one thing in the interview room and would be like, with that little, like, eating grin on her face, I was chilled to the bone. Disturbed. Okay. So there's that on her. Okay. Jody, and I said this probably 100 times when I think, I'm looking at this mega house that she has, which is cold as ice. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, all that money, all that privilege, all that whatever. And this is what you choose to do with that. There was such a dark force and energy hanging over that house. Now, mind you, I know I wasn't there, and I know the context that I'm looking at it through is, you know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I mean? I get it. But nonetheless, can we talk about when they yanked her out of that damn front door? I mean, I love that. And her on the front. I will never get over this. And I've made mention of it numerous times while she was in there where she's like, on the phone, you know, pulled her out of that damn thing. I'm on the phone with my lawyer. That's nice. Get out. You can't go in there. You can't go in there. Do you have a search warrant? Do you have a search warrant? Lawyer on the phone the whole damn time. And I would say that the cops were very professional. They were very nice. Now, these are just a couple of bullet points. The video will come out tomorrow, but just since we're talking about it, when he's talking about, now remember, she doesn't technically know what's going on, right? Because I will stand by this. 100% neither of those women think they did anything wrong. And I'd venture to say Kevin too. Um, but definitely Jody and Ruby, they do not think they did anything wrong. Whatever they might have said in court is pure BS. Pure BS, okay? Um, especially Ruby. Um, Roscoe, it is not bedtime, honey. I wish y'all could see this. He is literally standing in front of the bed, pissed. Okay. He is like, get your butt in here. Um, so they do not think that they did anything wrong. Okay, so when the cops talking to Jody, and he's like, where are people in the house? I got a little girl over here. I've got Airbnb guest over here. And this is, I said this in the video this morning, y'all. I said, I would pay good damn money to read that Airbnb review. And then my next thing was, is there a channel that has found those people and brought them on to talk? Can you imagine being at your Airbnb and that happened? Oh my God. And knowing that you stayed there, oh God knows, right? Um, Jody says this, but Airbnb guest over there, you probably scared them to death. And I'm thinking, what about the little girl? You can see how all of them tell on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the stuff with where their concerns are. I'm like, you're concerned about the Airbnb. Not the child, right? Well, we know she's not concerned about the child. Look at the poor boy that jumped out of there. Um, and jumped out of the window and escaped. You know what I'm saying? So, of course. Um, then her talking to the lawyer on the phone the whole time, which I get. And here's the other thing too. I 100% get, and I said this multiple times in the videos, if you're ever in this kind of situation, of course, you don't need to say anything. Ruby technically did the right thing, right? She shut up. She didn't say one damn word because by even talking a little bit, you see what happens. Like, look at Jody. They put her out here and they put that video out there, and you're able and you're able to see these little things that she's saying, and you can form an opinion on it. Where Ruby didn't do that at all. Okay, so excuse me. Um, with Jody sitting there doing all that, another thing that stuck out to me that I liked is when the one cop, the sergeant, the lieutenant, whatever, came up and she was like turned like this, looking at him, like just like, and he goes, "Are you waiting for me to say something?" You know what I mean? It's like, "Hello, can I help you? Anybody in there?" And I get she's in shock, but it was just so funny. It was just whatever. So then when they take her downtown, you know what I mean? And she's in there and they're trying to talk to her and all that, and she's just like, I mean, y'all seem like nice people. Why would my lawyer say not to talk to you? She's still, see, here's the difference between her and Ruby. Y'all hold on, let me go get Roscoe, please hold. Okay, sorry about that. Let's see if he can see me from the he's staring at me right now. He's staring me down too. Um Jody is still trying to kind of talk her way out of it. I would almost venture to say that Jody knows, you'd have to know, when a child jumps out of your house looking like that, right? Um, that you're in trouble. And again, remember, this isn't Jody's first time around the block. She's been, had things with her license. She's been in drama. She stays in drama, right? Now, this is probably obviously the biggest that she's, done. She's like, now I'm not talking because, um, because of whatever. I mean, it's just, because my lawyer, she's still trying to be friendly and like kind of sort of talk her way out of it. Whereas Ruby is, nope. Mm-mm. I said this in the video too. I don't know if it was the Ruby one or one coming up. If it was Hunger Games or The Purge, Ruby would be the first to literally kill you. She would kill you and cannibalize you without thinking twice about it. Okay. Roscoe, no, sir. Go lay down. I mean, he's not having it. Um, yeah, and Mel says, please keep in mind that Hildebrand is not a licensed psychologist. When she said, I'm a psychologist in the interview, I was like, oh my God, I can't. I put it on the cover of the thumbnail. I was like, I can't roll my damn eyes hard enough at this mess. And then something else that she said. What else did Jody say? Oh, it was Roscoe. The part where she was like, there's a man coming in the house with a machine gun. And I was like, yeah, it's that serious. Okay. It's that serious. Oh, and the part about when they were like, okay, we need to get in that little room. That she had the thing. Hold on, he's gonna start howling. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me go get him. We've had to close the bedroom door so that the option to even see the bedroom is not there. We've lost that privilege. We've lost the privilege of looking at the bedroom. Um, that's all we know to do. Um, so here's the thing. Okay, where was I at? Jody, we're talking about that. Let's get to Kevin for a minute. I'm kind of jumping around. I know. I'm sorry. Okay, so first of all, let me ask y'all this because I see some people earlier saying like, "Oh, Kevin's second interview or Kevin's whatever." The video that I just recorded was the one where they're introducing him to the whole situation and saying, "Do you know why you're here? How did you find out what happened? Where's the second interview, or is that the second one? Like, which ones are y'all talking about? Like, how do I differentiate the first and the second? I feel like the one that I did is the first." Because they're just introducing him to the situation of he doesn't even know why he's down there. Does that make sense? Um, so yeah, just saw that video today. Thank you. That preview of Jody with the second one is audio only. Okay. And where is that? Is it on YouTube? Oh my God, he talks about possession. Are you serious? Is audio only. She asked about the wife, another kid sicko. Okay, so I'm going to look for that next. Okay, I heard it on YouTube. Okay. Okay, so so let's talk about Kevin for a second. Okay, now here's me. I've been dying, as I'm sure we all have, to get answers of what was he thinking? Like, how did this go? You know what I'm saying? I had high hopes. I wanted to have high hopes. Let's put it this way. Of Kevin. And at first, I said this in the video when he first was speaking, and he had that kind of like, yeah, my name's Kevin. I'm here for whatever. I was like, well, surely, like any of us, he's stunned and shocked. You know what I'm saying? And that's where this disassociation thing is coming from. Um, but however, I was very disappointed that it went on. So, just I'm going to name some highlights here. Again, the video will come out in a couple of days. First of all, absolutely just walked away from the family at the beck and call of whoever suggested it, whether it was, what do you call it? Jody or what is her name again? Ruby. Um, I mean, the whole thing, you could hear the cops. I haven't seen them for a year. I don't know where they live. I didn't know they were living there. And I'm like, okay, now, and slightly in his defense, seeing how absolutely off the rocker Ruby is, I'm like, oh, she ran that show. 100%. She had him. She was like, well, I met her to sign the titles over to the car. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. I'm like, these people have done a damn number on him, right? It's like, okay, so Jody has you living in an apartment or wherever he's living, not at home, can't talk to the kids, signing over the stuff back to what's her name. He's just a wallet, right? Now, here's the other thing, too. He's not so stupid because there's some things where he catches himself where I'm like, oh, he's trying to quickly reel things in because here's my opinion, and it's just my opinion only. It became obvious to me, and I could be wrong, y'all. Let me know what you think. Where when he's talking about when they're like, well, how about the punishment? Like, how do y'all punish your kids in the house and this and that? Blah, blah, blah. You could tell that, in my opinion, he was right along with whatever Ruby was going to do. Like, he didn't see anything wrong with this. Because even when they described the condition of his son, he was like, well, I would need to know the context or whatever he said. And I was like, are you kidding me? Right? I was like, you can tell that it was whatever Ruby probably came up with. He just went along with it. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yeah. Almost like he was, I don't want to say brainwashed, but like, I don't know how to describe it, but whatever. Okay, so then the other part is, hold on, like, what was he saying? What did he say? Oh, and I'm just kind of going back over my things. Um, when he was like, he says all the things about the kid, all this type of stuff. And he's like, what's going to happen to Ruby? I love my wife. I was like, excuse me. There are so many times, and I'll say this, and I said it also in the video, because I hate sitting here being like, well, somebody's not acting the way that I think they should act or that I think I would act. So therefore, you know what I'm saying? Like, I give and take for that. We all act differently. However, there were so many moments in his behavior that I was like, I just think it would be normal for someone to be a little bit more, I need to put my eyes on my kids. I need to see them. I need to see, where are they? Why am I here? What's this 911? The kid, this is a picture of my son. Where I need to see them right now. But there's none of that. There's just this, you know, and then the way he's like, asking about Jody, I trust her. Um, she's an honest person. She's a life coach. I was like, oh my God, that's gonna be the word of 2023. Um, I was so disturbed by his behavior. Okay, that I was just like, I- you know, I, I I didn't know what to say. But it answered all my questions. I was like, oh, okay, this is how we arrived here, you know. And again, he almost acted like, I guess I just walked away with this thing of where he was almost like when they started talking about the kid, the emaciated kid. Number one, he didn't know what that word was, and I mean, granted, I don't know a lot of stuff either, but I'm just like, aren't you like a college professor or something, and you didn't know what that word was? Um, it was like he almost wanted to say, well, what did he do to deserve that? You know what I mean? Like you could tell where it was almost like I don't know. And another good example of that was when he was asking, okay, well, 8 passengers. Now, what happened with that? Um, what was this about? All these basically all got canceled. And he's talking about this, and he's like, well, my son immediately goes into blaming the son's behavior. Well, my son was doing, oh God, what was the word for it, y'all? Help me out here. My son, selfish acts. Um, Wait, hold on. Thank you, Nirvana. And yeah, Kevin has secrets. Oh, 100%. 100%. Um, my son was doing selfish acts, and goes in that long drawn out story about, and if you follow this, the son that was doing the thing about like waking the kids up. Hey, we're going to Disney. No, we're really not. I was just like, oh my God. Well, their answer was to take the room away for 9 months. And I'm like, who does that? That's crazy. Can you imagine that level of commitment to a punishment? Number one. Number two, the punishment itself. Okay. And he's like, and that's what it was all about. And you're just you can tell where the cops are piecing this together, like, yeah. And then when the cops were describing the wounds of the son that, jumped out the window or whatever at Jody's, and he's like, the cop's like, it's disgusting. It's horrible. No one should ever be treated like that. And he's like, I mean, that's how I feel, but maybe you feel differently. And you could tell that the cops were like sensing this, right? Number two, the cops have been on this like for the day, right? They already saw how this is going to play out. It was like anyone else, because these are coming from a mile away, except for him, where it's just like, did Jody suggest you move out of here? You know what I mean? It was so obvious. It was like, bro, like they are working you over. Okay. Number one, Jody's trying to get with your woman. Okay. That's number one. Number two, you're the wallet, which apparently, according to him, there's no money after 8 passengers. Right. It was like he was void of a soul. Like after that, I could see how him and Ruby would get along on that level, right? Of just nothing right behind their eyes. And so I'm like, oh, those kids didn't stand a chance. Didn't stand a chance. Everyone involved in the children's life, and when I say everyone, I mean Kevin, Ruby, and Jody, the 3 people that seem to have authority over the children, they didn't care. The only thing they cared was reprimand, doing this crazy stuff to them. Jenny says the police cry more than the dad. Yeah. You look at the pictures of that boy, you see why the neighbors cry. Here's the thing. We knew it was bad. Okay, like obviously, right? Once I saw the evidence, I was like, oh, it gives me goosebumps. This is bad. Okay, like this was so close to death. It's insane, right? A very rare case of these. I'm shocked the children lived. Okay, shocked. Please hold. So, oh no. Yeah, Meredith says, and hello, Meredith. Kevin's an enabler. He needs a lot of therapy to never come back from the Rudy crazy mentality he chose to follow. He chose to ignore the abuse. Yeah, 100%. I know it's like a cross between Lori Vallow and Shonda. Oh, that's another one. So here's the thing. I have not gotten to the journal entries. I have not gotten to the phone calls. Well, a little bit, I should say. Enough to be like, oh my God, y'all, we were right. That was all BS. Okay, so now I know I'm jumping around with my thought processes here. I'll be more focused, but I haven't been able to talk to anybody except the video camera. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've only talked to the video camera for 2 days about this. And Emily a little bit. So, but we haven't talked like in depth about it. So I'm jumping around. I've listened to a little bit enough to know that's where I was at. That BS that Ruby got up there with and sentencing and stuff, it was literally BS, y'all. Which we saw, we knew it was, right. She can't completely hide it, right. Here's the thing. Neither of them need to ever be let out of there again because they are you know what crazy. Okay. there ain't no coming back from that. I, I mean, I hope the kids are able to recover from this because now seeing after Kevin, where I'm like, there is no sane voice of reason in these kids' lives, right? I mean, God only knows what was going on behind the scenes at home during like like pre Jody era, right? We already know the craziness that Jody brought. Um, I just, I can't. Now, hold on. I want to read some of your comments real quick. This is talking about an interview about getting his money back. Ruby Franke is the mother of the children, not Jody Hildebrand. Yeah. Jody said the boy did injuries himself because he kept moving around after they put. Oh my God. I think the kids are better off with the older sibling. Oh yeah, 100% agent. The pics of the child's lives were shocking. Someone said they look like a die. Oh yeah, when they showed somebody sent me in the DM, like some of the evidence photos or whatever. And I mean, I'm looking at that boy and I'm like, imagine you're at home on a whatever day and there's a knock on the door and that little boy was at your doorstep talking about, help me, do you have food? Do you have water? And you hear the guy crying, and I mean, obviously, why? Now, here's the other thing too. Side note, because I saw Regina and Hello Regina, they were keeping it safe. Remember when the cop was like, "We need to get in that room." And she's like, I don't have the thing to it. First of all, she asked the lawyer, I'm talking about Jody. She's like, I don't have the code. It's been years since I've been in there. And they're like, well, what's in it? She's like, a toilet and a sink. And it's like, what is up with all these weird little bunker rooms that she turned into prisons? I mean, that was the thing, and that's just what I don't understand. I guess it becomes a fixation because I'm like, why do these people, and these weren't even Jody's kids. That's the other clincher to it. This one specifically, that and again, you would think. I see, I'm jumping around now. I'm sorry. You would think when they told Kevin, "Do you know your kids are living at Jody's?" And he's like, "No." Yes, I trusted Ruby, and I'm just like, even in a normal divorce, split, whatever, when they're like, "Do you know who was living with them at the house?" No. What? Even people who have the like nasty divorces, like there's usually things laid out of like, okay, well, you don't do this or have this kind of person around or whatever. It just baffled me that it was just like this. No, oh, they're living there. Yeah, barely living, but that's where they were. I mean, I just it blew me. And the cops saw this. You knew the cops saw, and then yeah, so back to yeah, and hey Veronica. Okay, so now I swear I'll be more focused when we do an actual live chat on this, but I just, it is. So on the code, didn't want to give the code up and was talking all about like, well, I'm going to have to call the company and do this. And they're like, so it has a bathroom and a sink in it and you don't know the code. Alrighty. I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? Jody at a certain point, okay, Roscoe, I'm going to put you down, but you can't go crying at me now. We're not going to bed yet. See, he's upset because the bedroom door is closed. He doesn't know what to do. He'll go to the sofa next. He's going to the bedroom door. If he was a bigger dog, he would just go knock the door down and probably grab me by the arm and drag me back there. Yeah, he's sniffing around it. He's like, dang. He's not. Oh, yeah, he's pissed. Father? So the whole thing with that just, whatever. Um, so like I said, I upload it right. I'm gonna upload when I hang up here the Kevin thing part 1. And then I think I'll do the journal entries next or there's so much to go over because basically what I'm doing is, I mean, if y'all follow me, then it's like I sit here and just kind of whatever I go down is what I want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'll do the journal entries next. I'm dying to get to those, but now I'm dying to get to Kevin's second interview. You know what I'm saying? There's so much. So let's go back over this real quick. Next Sunday, I'll put a post in the thing, not tonight, but tomorrow or something. I think it's the 31st. 9 a.m. we're doing the member/Patreon. And that's for anybody who's a member of this channel, the other channel, or Patreon live chat. There we're going to talk about this probably more. Some ideas about the member Patreon stuff, and then kind of how we're going to do the upcoming, with the Chad Daybell trial. Then in the live chat for this channel later that night, we'll talk about this case more, and we'll talk about Chad Daybell, how we're going to be doing that, how that's going to go. We'll see if anything has changed, if it's actually going to happen, that kind of stuff. So there is no documentary this week, and probably what we'll be doing is kind of reserving. I mean, we'll see. But we're going to kind of just be doing a lot of, trial talk over here for the next, however long it takes. And we'll be streaming as much as we can. Oh, thank you, Geeked. So there's that. So anyways, that's all. Hold on. Elijah View. I haven't heard of that. Also, I know we didn't really follow it over here, but the Riley Strain thing, disappearance and subsequent drowning or whatever happened to him, absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. My heart aches for his family. So scary. So scary for that to go down. So there's that. Oh, thanks, Pumpkin. So thank you all for joining. Everyone give Emily a round of applause and a warm hug for being here and holding us down and keeping us all in line. So Dwayne, the next live is going to be, well, first of all, for members, Sunday the 31st, 9 a.m. And then probably 7 o'clock that same night, we'll do the regular live chat over here like we've been doing. Oops, come here. But I'll put a post on all the things. And again, that member thing is for anybody who's a member of any channel, both channels, and then I post it everywhere. So that's it. So anyways, I do appreciate it. Thank you, Dwayne, for all the membership gifts. Everyone everybody just give Dwayne a round of applause for all the membership gifts. That's really sweet of you, Dwayne. I appreciate it. And as well, I know that other people do here too. And thank you everybody who gave super chats and also for chatting and entertaining my craziness for the last hour. I know that we've been kind of all over the place in this one, so I apologize, but there's a lot to talk about, y'all. So that's it. I do appreciate you, Sofa Squad. It's always so nice to hang out here. And then I've really been enjoying these end of the week sessions with y'all and coming and talking about it. So thank you very much. And Chrissy, if you're still listening, I hope you feel better. Thoughts and prayers out to you. And that's it. Roscoe says, good night, everybody. Say good night. Yeah, we're going to bed. Anyways, that's it. I love you guys. Thank you for joining. And we will talk during the week as well as next weekend. So y'all have a good one, and we will see you soon.